All right. Hello, everyone. Ben Williams down here tonight. Solo show. Been super busy. It's why we didn't get a show out this week during our normal Wednesday time frame. I got a quick solo show tonight. Want to do a couple quick wrap ups and talk about what's been going on lately, and then talk about what we got coming up tomorrow. So, first things first. This is like always a live Q&A session. So drop in your comments over here for the Q&A. This is the 100 Proof Whitetails podcast. Want to shout out our show sponsors really quick. Well, we got everybody at the beginning of the episode. Busy Bee Chiropractic and Wellness. All of our sponsors will be up here in this upper corner. Go see Dr. Britt for all of your chiropractic needs. Also have a sauna and dietitianary on staff over there as well. Check out Busy Bee Chiropractic in Newark today to start feeling better and to keep feeling good. Next, M&R Firewood Services right here out of Phelps, New York. We like to support a lot of the local folks here, and M&R is no exception to that. They're great firewood service. They do face core deliveries. They do bundled wood for campfires and camping and all that good stuff too. They do specialty bundles. They donated some specialty bundles to our youth event, which we'll talk about more of that when Nate's back on, where we can really flesh that out. But they also have a firewood stand down Seneca Lake there just past Smokin Pete's. So um, lots of places to get your M&R firewood, and reach out to them at the phone number listed to get your firewood today. It's not too late to get a couple face cores before this winter hits. We're on the edge of October, guys. Also want to shout out Pierce Metalworks for all of your custom fabrication repairs, everything like that. Great outfit. Obviously, it's Nate's outfit here out of Phelps, New York. Thank you, Pierce Metalworks, for sponsoring the show, like always. A couple new sponsors coming on board this episode. I want to thank the Phelps Fire Department for helping us put on a very successful youth event. We raised several $100s for local outdoor youth activities. So we'll be getting those totals together and get those on for ready for the next episode and give a full um, kind of diagnostic on how the event went. I think it went phenomenal. Had a lot of good folks turn out. We sold out of chicken. Actually, so much so, and I'll tease this a little bit, me and Nate didn't actually get a chicken from our own chicken barbecue. So that's because we wanted to make sure that folks got their chicken. Heritage Outdoor Sports came through and donated a nice raffle basket for us, as well as donated to the NWTF Clambake event. So I want to shout them out and make sure that they're listed as a partner slash sponsor, whatever you want to call this group. I think we should just call it the friends and family of the 100 Proof. Is kind of what we'll probably switch this in for upcoming episodes. And then lastly, Whitetail Properties here for the Finger Lakes team, Tim Kent, Heather Kent, and myself for all of your needs buying and selling recreational homes on acreage, farm ground, timber ground, you name it. We'll be happy to help you any step of the process. Contact us today for a free property valuation. See what your ground's worth, and if you're buying, let's find your parcel today and let's start your land search. So, all right, kicking off this episode. It's a solo show tonight. I want to really shout out Smokin Tails Distillery. They're having their Sportsman's Day tomorrow. I'll be set up there with a table. We'll have some 100 proof stickers, have some hats as well available at the table if folks are interested in any of those. So check that out tomorrow. It's noon to 3. It's right at the same time the Bills are playing, so the game's on. Get yourself a cocktail. Try some of the Sportsman's Reserve. I poured a couple Smokin Tails offerings that they've had in the past and was able to get my hands on the new Sportsman's Reserve. So we're going to put this up against some of the other really good flagship bottles, I guess you'd call it, from Smokin Tails. Previous years Sportsman's release. Now, they didn't do an 80 proofer this year. They're all at 105 proof, which is something new. Usually, I think Pete does it around like 115 or so, and then an 80 proof batch this year. A little more of a limited run, so we ran just 105 proof straight run on it, and then we're gonna put it up against the old red corn. And they're all mixed up here behind me. I don't know which is which. We'll just kind of be sipping on them through the night a little bit, and just kind of giving our feedback on those, and obviously giving a little review about what we think of the Sportsman's Reserve as we go through the show. But yeah, we had a good weekend last weekend. I won't talk too much about it because I want to make sure Nate's here to give his feedback on the youth fundraiser, chicken barbecue, 100 proof chicken barbecue party, whatever you want to call it. I think we definitely found out stuff that works and stuff that we want to change next year to make it a little bit better. But I think it was great with the venue. And thanks to everybody that made that possible. All of our sponsors, Busy Bee put together a basket. M&R donated specialty firewood bundles, cherry bundles. For smoking wood or whatever you want to use it for. That's the other thing M&R offers is good specialty woods for smoking and campfires and that kind of stuff. If that's what you need or into, just contact them if they're looking for something. I'm sure they can find it for you. So Heritage donating that basket, like I said. Phelps for letting us have the venue. Phelps Fire Department for letting us have the venue for nothing, which is actually a great venue for like family get-togethers, everything like that. So feel free to contact them and see what they can do for you and see if it's a fit for you. They got tables and chairs on site, all that good stuff. Plenty of parking, so it's a great place, and thanks Phelps Fire for that. And then the next day, we had a very busy weekend last weekend. We had the NWTF Clambake over there edge of Seneca Falls at I'm gonna forget the name of the clam shack, but there's a place there on just outside of Seneca Falls, and that's where we had the NWTF Clambake, raising tons of money, thousands of dollars for National Wild Turkeys through the organization there. So happy that that was a hit. I think all of the games sold out. Raffle baskets were great. Tons of people won prizes. My wife actually won a big old Yeti cooler that we're waiting to have delivered to the house. So one that we wouldn't have bought, but we won it. So that was a win. A couple raffle baskets we took home as well. But yeah, we had silent auction, live auction items, your typical sportsman's banquet. So that was a great time. I think they capped it at just over 200 people this year. So I don't know if we're going to increase that number, but I'm sure we'll get a full breakdown from the rest of the committee and Norm and everybody and Andy, and I think it came together really good. Was able to see some folks I haven't seen in a while, so that was also really cool. But yeah, just a great time raising money and fundraising for the wild turkey. So gotta love it, gotta love it. But uh, want to talk a little bit about the Sportsman's Day and what to kind of expect with that. I'm going to taste the first whiskey here in this row. I don't know which is which of any of these. They all have little letters on the back of the glasses here, but I can't see them. So um, it's we're going to taste a couple of these and keep talking. But anybody wants to drop in some questions, anything like that, I'm going to be kind of bouncing around tonight because it's a solo show. There's no give and take. So if you guys got some topics and stuff or questions leading into season, be happy to hear them. And then we'll start diving into the Sportsman's Day and then start talking a little bit of habitat tips and hunting tips going into this first part of season. So this is also my first whiskey of the day. And I think that's one of the Sportsman's because that one's coming off a little warm. So, um, yeah, it's good. I mean, it's got that nice Pete's stuff that I found with the Sportsman's has a real maltiness to it. So if you like that malty kind of flavor, um, it's going to be right up your alley. It's not raisiny like I say I get with a lot of other New York distilleries, which is one thing I like about Pete's thing, and it's its own kind of jam and flavor. So that's really cool. So thanks Smokin Tails for hooking us up with a bottle to try on the show and kind of review them, and I'm going to put them side by side to give them a fair shake with the rest of the offerings that they've put out before. So it's not your typical bourbon, but it's not done with like a typical bourbon way either. So um, got a comment rolls in from Aaron here. Any EHD in the area? I want to knock on wood. Why do you got to even say the word, Aaron? EHD. Um, Luckily, I haven't heard or seen any reports of EHD. Um, I was out pulling cameras the other day. I still haven't looked at all my cards. Um, the deer numbers are definitely up and down. I don't have a lot of summer food on my farm this year, and I still have to go pull a couple more cameras. But there's no smell of dead deer. And anywhere that I was anywhere I was out and about, and I was next to ponds and water sources, everything like that, and there was a pretty good breeze, so I figured I probably would have smelled it. I don't have anything I reported. I haven't heard of anything here in New York either, even downstate where we've had outbreaks in the past. I know Ohio, from reports, is getting smoked. Southern Ohio, South Central, and Southeast Ohio are just getting walloped right now with EHD, as they were in much of that drought pattern that we kind of had here in the Northeast. So um, I'm going to knock on wood and say we don't have any EHD reported here, and I hope we don't. We're just about out of that window here, as it's late September going into October, but we're still pretty warm right now, a little bit more warm than normal. So I could see it potential that it might rear its head, but I just don't think so. Based on no trickling reports coming in where it's starting to kind of metastasize or whatever in the areas. So I think we're good, Aaron. I'm hoping we didn't just open up the can of worms and jinx it. So, but yeah, thank you for the comment. That's a good one. But back to this first glass. Good solid sipper. Nice chocolate maltiness. And all these are straight up. They've been sitting since just before I started the live show. So I've had time to air out, breathe a little bit. Um, like I said, I'm not opposed to peat stuff at all. I like peat stuff a lot, and it's got its own jam and flavor for when I'm feeling it. So, as you can see, I do enjoy it. She's down the sticker quite a bit, and you can see how dark that color is on this stuff that he's got aging up. So, the only thing I think he said different with this year's batch is he did not, is he didn't double oak it. So I don't know if that's going to have a little bit of difference in flavor. We'll see with that, but. What else is new and exciting? Tree stands are all trimmed, safety checked, ready to go. That's a plus. Trail cameras were refreshed on batteries. Um, the only thing I'm doing here in the next 2 days is washing my clothes, because we got the perfect weather for washing the clothes right now. So that's the one thing that I'm doing the next couple days. Now that I'm pretty much in autopilot mode and just waiting for the right conditions, or looking back at some stuff to see if I got patterns coming. Opening day is Wednesday, but I'm looking at, we got 78 on Sunday, 80 degrees Monday, 76 degrees Tuesday. Um, the only thing is I accidentally knocked my laundry detergent off the shelf in my office, and lost like half of my Olympus Shield laundry detergent. So I should have enough for my batches of clothes. I pulled all my totes out, started going through my stuff, making sure I have everything accounted for the initial wash load, and then specifically the stuff that's definitely got to dry out, like my base layers and everything like that. So, and like we talked about last episode, I'm real meticulous with my kind of scent control regimen. Not as much as some people, but I definitely take some added steps with how I prepare for my scent control stuff. Um, this is also my last year, so this will be year 3 with the boots I have. This is my last hunting season with those boots. I'll be getting new boots probably after shed season. I'll probably still run these for my shed hunting boots, but my old shed hunting boots finally got trashed out, and my wife is probably going to love this, but I cut the sides out of them and made them into like basically slip-ons for doing like bird chores and everything like that. Um, so I'm sure she's up there. She's watching the episode right now. I'm sure she's just rolling her eyes about my lacrosse boots that I trimmed the sides off of because they were shredded from the rose bushes. That's what I go do, like the horse chores in the morning and the bird chores and stuff like that. When I'm doing it, and she's not, she's doing it a majority of the time. But when I go out there to do it and stuff like that, that's usually what I'm slipping on, is those. So because they're nice lacrosse boots, other than the sides been shredded from being 10 years old. So that glass a little more sharp on the second one. Um, oh gosh, this is a loaded question. All right, I'm gonna take another sip of the second one. The second one's a little more sharp, but it's a little more sweet too. It's not as malty. This probably is gonna be the red corn one. Got more sweetness, a little more sharpness to it. It's not as rolled over like with the maltiness that can come off with it. But still a really good sip and pour. Can't complain. So, my wife's got a loaded question here. Um, do you think you have more invested in your hunting or bourbon stockpile. So um, both are up there, and I don't keep a tally or a count, but I would say that I have more invested time and money wise in hunting. Um, but that's something that I definitely think I got more invested on because I've been doing that longer on the hunting side of it. Bourbon I've really slowed down the last year. Have a year and a half old kid now, so the last probably 2 years I've been really slowing off hard. Um, so I still do enjoy a pour with friends and stuff like that. Have a pour on the show, that kind of thing. But I'm not doing as much of the battle videos and stuff on YouTube or whatever anymore with the bourbon stuff. And I have my flavors set. I do have some unopened stuff that I've bought, in the past, and usually I don't crack a new one until I finish one. So, and if you're drinking pretty much by yourself, it takes a while. So, as you can see, we got a bunch of stuff that's down the stickers, but there's special occasions or different things they're good for. I do love my turkey stuff. I mean, you see that's probably going to always be a staple down here, but probably like the shelves and stuff are probably going to start going away as stuff gets drank off and everything like that. So, but yeah, definitely more in the hunting bucket. If we were tallying it up, I would think is what I got more invested in. And then follow-up question to that is a random recommendation for both. Random recommendation, what was one I just opened the other day? Oh, I opened up, because I finished I can't even remember what it was. Evan Williams Bottled and Bond, which is one of my all-time go-to favorites. That's probably my recommendation for a bottom shelf one that really, really is good, and that was a crowd favorite at our Sip and Stroll event. Always does really well. That one was a pretty close second to Buffalo Trace. So the Evan Williams White Label, the Bottle and Bond, that's probably my bourbon random recommendation. But I'm going to give an honorary mention to this Penelope Weeded that that I just opened the other day. This is a really good weeder. I think it's right around 25 or $30, I think. That's my other recommendation for a random one. I got that right at K&M. They probably still have it around. So and they have usually a lot of the other Penelope stuff. I like Penelope a lot. So that's my other random recommendation for the whiskey side of stuff, and then for the hunting side, random recommendation. This is a good segue. I just did this past week. Went out and did all my arrow tuning. Heritage Outdoor Sports. Went over and grabbed a half dozen FMJs from winning the Summer League shoot-off that I was in for the flight. So I went out and got some new 340 FMJs with that money. Because it's free money because I won it, right? Put up my heritage sticker on it, my blood band or whatever you want to call it on the shaft. And the other archery recommendation is I've always been a fixed blade guy. I had some bad experiences with expandables, everything like that over the years. But what I run now is, if you can see it, is the Slick Trick, which are made right here just outside Rochester. These Slick Trick assailants. So what you do have is you have your chisel tip, and then you have, it's basically a 4-blade broadhead, but it's got 2 fixed blades and then 2 mechanical blades. So it's a hybrid head, and it's all friction done. So like these pull back off of this, they fold, they're New York legal and compliant, but you got 2 really good cut-on contact blades, and then you have your deploying as the fixed blades enter, you're deploying expandable blades on the side, and that's what I've been running. With this, I shot these right out to 40 yards, and they're flying like field tips. I think I only had one arrow that I had to knock tune a little bit, but they were right on par with what my thing was doing. So I do like these. Random recommendation, these Slick Trick assailants. You get a 3-pack and a practice broadhead, and the practice broadhead is huge, so you're not going out there and dulling up these blades. They're sharp right out of the package, so be careful when you're putting them on, and make sure you're not nicking those brand new blades, but they do really, really well. They fly great. Shot a really good buck last year with it. Shot 6-pack with one, and he went about 80 yards, piled right up. So, and you can see the entrance hole, and that's what I get a lot of comments on that. The entrance hole that was in that buck was pretty impressive. So, so that was really cool. You can actually probably see that. I'm trying to think if he's in the intro video. I know Dono is, um, but yeah, the impact side on that, the cut on contact, and then the deploying blade, and it was like paintbrush dumped. I didn't actually heart shoot him. I double lunged him, but he went right up in there and then died right in the hardwoods there in front of me on the ridge, which is really cool. So, and I've showed the pictures before of him walking in and then me walking past the camera. I think we showed that an episode or two ago. But those are my random two recommendations. Penelope, anything Penelope I like. Obviously the Sportsman's. Come try it tomorrow. See if you like it. And then hunting one. Well, since I gave two on the whiskey side of it with the bottle and bond, I'll give the Assailant its plug, and then these new Light and Knox. Um, that I got. I can't even remember the brand. Now I'm going to be bad. You can get these right at Heritage. They're right at the counter. I like these better. They're an easier click on and off with the set button in them. They perform really well. They shoot really well. And I wasn't running into issues like I was with some of the old Nocturnals. I don't know if those are Nocturnals or if there's some other brand. I honestly couldn't tell, but Lou said that that's what they're kind of switching everything over. Full going forward is that style, and I like it a lot better. They shoot a lot better, it seems. Um, and they're not like bulged out like the other ones were. So there's some things I like about these. Um, I don't like that I didn't get them in blue because that's what I usually do is the tin cup blue. These are red ones. So yeah, I think the only thing I got to do to those is put them in the quiver at this point. So and then I start doing the random number thing with my wife or usually it's Hannah or sometimes it's my mom if Hannah's not answering me. When I climb up in the stand, I ask what arrow, and I go down the quiver, and that's my arrow for the night. Aaron says, "Have you tried that West Virginia brandy?" No, I haven't. I've been waiting for you to come on the show, Aaron. I might give that a little crack tonight, though. We'll try these, give these all a fair shake, and then we'll have a little brandy because I don't actually have a brandy that's open. The apple brandy I had, a buddy of mine came and finished that about a month ago. So actually, I don't have a brandy open right now. So that might be a good one. And that might be one my wife would actually like too. So, um, okay. So the first one and the third one are definitely the Sportsman's. They got that maltiness, that chocolatey, um, not a lot of caramel, but just that malty chocolateness that Pete's Sportsman's usually has. So if you like that, um, it'd be right up your alley. So yeah. I mean, these are both good. We'll try them side by side. Um, it's been hot the last couple days. I might just lean toward. I think this one's the red corn. I might lean toward that one with the sweetness, not as much malty because we've been 70s the last couple days, and it just seems to be when it's warmer out. I'm not liking as much kind of deep chocolatey flavors. I dig more on the wheat and the sweet in the summer, and then more dark tobacco, chocolatey, high proof stuff in the wintertime. That's what it just seems like. I don't really get to super high proof unless it's like a turkey, rare breed or something. Um, Another little quick tip. This is going to be just like little blast tips. I think this episode, when you're shooting your broadheads, I like shooting them at 20. Make sure they're good, and then I'll shoot them at like 32. For the way my pins are set up, my pin is set at 26. I do have a slider on my bow, but I'm shooting it at 26 right now. I'm shooting like 69-pound draw on like 65-pound limbs, but like 69, 70 pounds on the draw weight. They just max a little heavy on that bow. So I'm shooting a heavier draw weight than I used to. I'm shooting I think a faster bow. I never chronoed it before I sold my other one. But I think that Matthews is shooting a little bit quicker. It's definitely quieter. I've had a lot of comments on how quiet that Matthews is. But when you're shooting these broadheads, any broadheads, um, and I shoot 3 times with an arrow before I start moving. So I'll shoot it 23 times, make sure that that's all hitting within that nice, I should be able to put them in that like silver dollar size group. I should be able to easily 10 ring it. But if not, I have a little orange spray painted dot and I'm shooting it like silver dollar size groups. If I can keep that for 3 shots, and not feel that I tweaked one off or something like that, um, then I'll step it back to 26. And then go from there, shoot it out to 32, 33, 34 yards, somewhere in there. Depends on where I'm tossing the block out to the deer core, so I don't lose my practice tip. So what you'll see is if your arrow isn't in line with that shaft. Now these shafts are .001 straightness too, so you're going to be more forgiving because it's going to be a better quality shaft. With the what do you want to call it? The variance in the shaft. It's super low. Basically, it's a match grade arrow now from the FMJs that Easton's doing. Lou and Mike could speak better to this than me. But with a straighter shaft, a better arrow, you're going to perform better, especially downrange. So once I shoot it at 34, if I'm seeing it want to, go up in walleye or go down in pigeon toe, like some people will say, what you'll start doing is you'll start turning that knock. And then once you have it flying good out to 34, or wherever you're shooting it to, 34 is what I kind of find. 34, 35 is a pretty good rule of thumb to be able to see that down range flight that you won't see at 20. I'll turn that knock. If you're running a drop away, I start with third turns on the arrow fletch, and then what I'll do if that doesn't work, I'll run indexed ones between. And then when I find where it is, you'll see this more on my fixed blade broadheads because those are the ones that want to try to dip and dive a little bit more, I've noticed, than these ones. I only had one of these that I had to knock turn. But what you'll do with that is you're finding how that arrow wants to flex and spine and shoot, basically. So that's how I do it, is knock tuning these arrows. But I haven't had to do a lot of knock tuning with these assailants either. They fly straight, they fly true, they leave great blood trails, super sharp out of the box, local company to support, and you get the best of both worlds. You get good cut on contact. It's not a huge cut. It's only like an inch and maybe an inch out with the regular bleeders, and then I think you're up to like inch and 3/4 with the expandables. I say bleeders, they're just the fixed blade head, basically. So I run into more of the knock tuning with my fixed blade ones when I ran the dirt naps, which those were great heads. I killed a lot of deer with those heads. So that's kind of my knock tuning tip. So I'm going to lean toward, I think this is the red corn, is going to be my first one for this, just because I think of the time of the year, the sweetness of it. But as we dip more into fall, I think these malty ones are definitely going to come out with this. So but this one has a little bit more baking spice on the nose. I've noticed the second one. I give it to Pete. I mean, it is darn close, even without the now this one has been open for a little bit too, but without the double oaking that he usually does. He said he skipped that step this year. They're pretty darn consistent products. One to the other. Man, this is gonna be a tough one. But what else has everybody got going into season? Trying to think of what else I've heard from folks. Oh, plot failures. Let's dive into some plot failures. Has anybody had some plot failures at this point of the season, or some struggles with getting stuff done, or just stuff you should worry about, not worry about, deer you want to go try to kill, but not sure if you want to kill them? Let's break some stuff down and let's flesh some stuff out for some folks. Let's hear some comments and some questions here. That's how I'm going to rank them. Is the second glass I'm going to do first. Um, and then the first glass is second. Third glass I'm going to leave in third place. And then we'll do the reveal or whatever. But we finally got some rain here too. Since the last episode, went out and put down a ton of seed last. I think it was like Monday, Tuesday. We got a bunch of timely rain with that across Wayne and Ontario counties where I was putting some seed down. So it's still not too late. I said that in the YouTube video. If you guys haven't checked that out, you can find it over on the 100 Proof or the Ben Williams Whitetail Properties YouTube channel. That's where all the podcasts get uploaded on YouTube, as well as some of the in the field videos and stuff like that that me and Nate do. They'll be up on that channel. So um, definitely, definitely set. This year with the drought and the dry we had, a lot of people struggled. Some people more Western New York did all right because they didn't have as much of that drought time. I saw some better stuff from that in downstate areas. It seems like they kept a little bit better rain and kept a little greener through the summer. Um, Down in that southern tier band and stuff. But up here through the upper Finger Lakes, we got pretty dry. And then it kind of missed us, and then kind of got up into Oswego and Jefferson County. We stayed pretty green too through most of the year from the travels from whitetails and stuff like that when I was out looking at ground with folks and listing properties. So yeah, definitely not too late to get some stuff on the ground. Um, the one thing that I had a lot of people reach out to is if they were doing no-till style plantings. In a lot of cases, especially if it was a plot that they've been in before, you're getting a lot of fall grasses this year. I heard this probably from at least a half a dozen to a dozen people. They had a lot of grass infiltration in their food plots. A lot of that is stuff like fall panicum, some of these late coming on grasses, like fall panicum and stuff like that. But in a lot of cases right now, that's green, tender, young, as long as it's young germinating growth and not like stuff that you just missed with a sprayer or something like that. In a lot of cases, I probably wouldn't spray that out this late because that is providing some green palatable forage at this point. I don't want to completely wipe that slate out. There's some people that might disagree with me on that, but I talked to folks about that too, where even if it was like a spotty turnip plot that had a lot of grass, I probably wouldn't spray the grass out of it or put more seed onto it because you're just going to stress out that radish and stuff like that doesn't compete very well with putting more seed to it like rye or wheat. And then also, if you're taking all that stuff off the board, you're kind of running into you know, a crunch timeline. I mean, we're, September 27th right now, so we're late at the game. But this is when we have rain, so this is what we had. If we could have planted a month ago, we'd have planted a month ago, but we just didn't have the rain to do it. Um, so, and some of the stuff like the brassicas that had been, I think, just working on a little bit of root production, had been just kind of barely getting along with the rain. The day after it rained, when I went back out to check it, we had instant germination on a lot of plots. That wheat was just sitting, dormant basically, because I did plant some around the 1st of September. That greened right up and popped. We had those late planted beans that just popped. So there was a lot of stuff that came on with that rain that wish we'd have had in the beginning, but I'm also glad we didn't because it didn't germinate and then die out. But I think if we were doing no-till stuff, the brassicas and radishes were able to hang on enough to get in really good shape. I wish we could have had some more rain, a couple timely rains, even 10th or quarter inches would have been great. Especially if they were all day gray day soakers would be awesome. Um, even would have took a downpour or two. We couldn't buy rain in the summer here, but we couldn't, stop the rain in the spring. So kind of hit on all fronts. Aaron's comment came in and said, yeah, the drought on the Milo had a slow run. Yeah, I didn't get any Milo in because I couldn't get on ground in the spring. So my Milo didn't get planted. I do have Milo and corn for next year that's all put up in bins and um, sealed up to make it through the winter in the big metal bins so the rodents and stuff don't get into it. So I have Milo and corn planning to go in next year, but we'll see how that goes. We did seed a bunch of stuff into clover um, to help combat this issue if we do face it in the future. whereas we kind of slanted away from clover the last few years, just because stuff was phasing out. It just happened to be with the timing of our rotations. But now we're rotating stuff back into clover that had been annuals for several years, and just hadn't had a chance to rotate back in, and then stuff that's going to be going in next year to clover, as some of this other clover is kind of coming out the backside with like biennial clovers and stuff like that, or stuff that's going into like hopefully a grain next year if we can get on it. And we do have a couple new plots as well that are going to be going in. Those got sprayed off to combat a lot of this late emerging vegetation that we have here in the fall. Trying to get that prepped up and in the best shape we can, going into planting probably like an annual, like either brassica or cereal grain on it next year. So, but we'll put videos up on that for the YouTube page. So feel free to go check that out. Or if there's something you want to see, questions you have specifically, we'd love to put them in the YouTube videos and stuff too, and do kind of a deeper dive in the field with some of that stuff. So, but yeah, not too late to save those plots. And I would definitely say dial up that rate, 100 pounds plus per acre of wheat, and then probably 100 to 150, even maybe 200 rye if you got little to nothing, real sandy stuff. Really drought blast out if it's a middle of a goldenrod field and there's no shade on it, no wet pockets, thin soil, stuff like that, where that stuff just didn't take, even the grass didn't take hard. Seed that down 100, 150 pounds per acre rye all day long. Even the wheat, hit that down with 100 pounds per acre plus of that. Maybe even some biennial clover, some red clover, crimson clover. Try to get it through. Radish, you're getting really late to the game now. You're going to get maybe a couple inches before we get the frost. So you could throw a little bit of that in there if you got it. But right now, I mean, everything we've got is set and forget right now. Everything's out. Clover's out. Wheat's out. We put some late planted soybeans in a couple of the winter wheat plots that were going into clover anyway. So, and we found like 2-3 bags plus of soybeans that we had from, I don't even know, we couldn't find a date on them. So, we threw those into the mix so they didn't get shuffled back in the rotation more, and they were supposedly only 60-pound germination, and I don't know what they ended up German testing out for with Dad, but yeah, that's the plot saving. Same thing with tree stands. I would say get out there and get it done. That way, especially if you got to get out there and get them safety checked at minimum, go out there, get them checked, do a little speed scout, and then get out of there. Leave it till that late October if it's one of them rut spots. Hopefully you've been able to get out there. I've been just busy and everything like that to be able to get out there before, but I got out last week, got everything safety checked. Didn't need a ton of trimming because we do it every year for a safety check and trim. A couple of them needed some trimming, but not too bad. So that's good. Yeah, plots are all in. So I mean, we're in basically autopilot mode. Bows all shot. Keep shooting your bows. Whether you're and we'll see if Bo's tuning in because he'll comment on this right now. Keep shooting your crossbow. If you're shooting that this year, keep shooting your vertical bow if you're shooting that. Well, the weather's still good, and if we're still in these 70, 80 degree dog days right now of early fall, get to the range and shoot your rifle. Get that set for the year, and or shotgun, whatever you're shooting, pistol, and get some rounds downrange with those weapons, and stay proficient with them. Make sure that they're still checking out before you go out, and then have that good buck you're after, that buck of a lifetime even. Maybe you walk past you, and then you sling some lead at him, and you go, well, I don't think I hit him, and you didn't hit him at all, and it's like, well, did you shoot your gun? No. Well, get out there and shoot it. Get out there and shoot your bow. Get out there and shoot your weapon, and get proficient with it. So, that's my other tip right now for this time of the year is definitely shoot your weapon, and be good with your weapon. So, yeah, I think yeah, that's just sweeter. Sweeter. It's got a little sharp bite in the beginning. Um, but that's just a super good bottle. I'm thinking that's the corn. So we're gonna go through these. I got the list right here. The A glass is red corn. D glass is the new batch of the Sportsman's, and then the B batch is the 23 batch. But these two batches were super close. I'm pretty sure these are the Sportsman's ones just because they were that maltiness that you don't get with the corn. You get more sweetness with that one with the red corn. This is the A glass. So that was my first place tonight just because, like I said, it's been hot. I usually lean toward the sweet. This red corn was really, really good that Pete did. I think he's got another batch of this. He said brewing, right? Or yeah, brewing. He's got another batch of this aging up right now for the red corn. So definitely like that. This is the bootlegger red bourbon whiskey that he does. So I do like that bottle a lot. And then next one is B, which is the old batch. So that one came off really good to me. And again, all of these I would definitely say I would have a second pour of. But this B glass was the 23 batch that he had, and then the D glass. So the B glass could have been a little bit more easier going, because it's been open for a little bit longer. It might have evaporated a little bit, come off a little bit more rounded because of that. It also has some double oak, so maybe the double oak did shine through in this one a little bit to round out those little bit of sharp edges. But both of these really carry that malty profile really well for Pete's stuff. So come try it for yourself because everybody's palate's different. You don't know what you'll like, and it depends on the day. You might be in a different mood for it too. So, what else do we got tonight for questions, comments? So right now, I guess we'll give a little bit of the my strategy going into this first part of the year. I still have to look through probably I don't know, probably 15 to 20 trail camera cards over the next couple days. It's going to be warm, going to be washing some clothes, going to be running real estate. So, I mean, I'm going to be all over the place. So, probably between stuff, looking at cameras here and there when I can find some wee hours of the morning or wee hours of the night. And trying to come up with a game plan. I got to get my serial killer board worked up. I got all the rows and columns. I got $2 on it right now that confirmed I have pictures of. Obviously, I knew they made it through from last year. I got pictures of, and we'll probably be targeting those two to start the year. We'll see if another one slides in. I know Lucky usually shows up later in October, for example, so I'm sure he'll probably be on the list if he's still alive and kicking, or maybe he just moved off or disappeared. I'm really hoping he does show up because Lucky's kind of been my guy. We laid off him last year at the end of the season, because we wanted to keep some bucks in the bank for this upcoming, this 25 season. And kind of good thing we did because we found a really good 3-year-old or two really good 3-year-olds dead. Between ours and the neighbors, found two really good 3-year-olds. So those are bucks that would have been in that 4-year-old class that we try to kind of chase in the local neighborhood. So we found two of those between all the neighbors. We found one, and then the neighbors found one. So there was a couple bucks that did die off. So it's kind of glad that we kept a buck that we pretty sure he was 4 years old last year. He's going to be probably 5 this year. So I haven't had a picture of him since he shed out. We did pick up one of his sheds. One of the other bucks that we picked up one of his sheds from last year, Hank, he's around a little bit. And then I forget what the one neighbor's calling him, but the one-eye buck with the hole in his shoulder. He's a really cool buck. He's completely blind in one eye. And they're not high-scoring deer. They're only probably Hank's probably maybe low, maybe mid-30s, but probably not even that. And then the one-eye buck, we think he might even be 5, 6 years old, maybe even more. And there was a neighbor that killed one last year that I wish we had got the jaw out of him before he went off to the taxidermist or whatever with him because I think that deer could have been 6, 7 years old based on trail cam pictures. So, you never do know. And I mean, Dono was a prime example of that. We finally thought that he was 4 years old last year to try to go in and target him. We targeted him, moved in on him, killed him. That opening weekend of gun season there, I killed him with the pistol. and right on the 1 year rule, right like he should have been. So it was it was one of those things that we made that decision to lay off. Lucky to end the season last year, but moving in on these 1 year rules and really starting to slide in on that, seeing when deer move into certain spots of the property, and when we start seeing them show back up. Um, I don't know if it's going to be a little earlier this year. I mean, we are late September, so we do see a lot of shift in October. More so, I think that's a lot to do with pressure. So we'll see if that pushes deer on earlier. Again, I haven't looked at all the cards, so I mean, Lucky might be on the camera right now, or a new guy might be on the camera. I just don't know yet. But those are kind of the only two that I have right now. I got a couple. I got a bunch of 2 year olds. Like really nice 90, 100 inch, 8, 9 points. On camera. One or two 3 year olds banging around that are pretty decent 120-ish class bucks. We just don't get high scoring deer all that often. On our piece, we're not built for score in our neighborhood. Just the way the genetics are. I mean, the kidney reserves are good. The age is obviously there. We don't see them really over 150 very often. But if you want to keep holding out for that 70, I'll shoot the 30, 40, 50s, and even the 20s and teens bucks if they're, I mean, Dono was, I think he was like 110. Um, but again, I ended up being a 6 year old buck that we figured was at least 4 based on trail camera pictures, and ended up being older than that. So I've been letting that deer walk for a couple years, um, with nothing special going on in his head. I don't think he ever broke 120 inches in his life, and we were able to tag him as a 6 year old. So they're not all built for score. And then some of the best ones, um, my biggest buck that I've ever killed, he was knocking on the bottom of 150. He's high 40s, that 10 pointer. They estimated him at 3.5. We never sent his front teeth away, but just seems like a lot of those really good 3 year olds and stuff, you know, get smacked. Really good 2s and 3 year olds get smacked because they're hard to let go. They're hard to let 100 inch go. They're really hard to let 120s go, and 130s. You know, if it's not the deer you want to take, but if it's a deer you want to take, I'm not trying to tell you to take a deer or not take a deer. It should be your personal choice on it. Legal, ethical, got a tag for it. Um, Everything like that. If it's legal, ethical, and safe, and you want to take that deer, I say take that deer. I'm never gonna tell you not to take one. What else we got? Um, yeah, Jake's Clambake. We touched on it briefly. Don't know the final numbers from that, but that was a great event. Nora was a hit. She was running around all day in her turkey shirt, making people smile and laugh. So that was good there. Lots of good stuff from that event. We'll see what else comes of that. With handed out some cards, talked to some folks about potentially buying some property. So I might have some new buyers and or sellers from that event. So lots of good stuff coming up the pipe for that. Bunch of showings, staying busy on stuff. I got a lot of um, potential new listings coming up down Chemung, Tioga County way. Um, Two of those probably going to list two. Well, sign the paperwork for two of them on Wednesday this coming week. So stay tuned for those. One's a real gem. The other one's a pretty cool little building lot down there. Got to follow up with a couple other property valuations that I did to see where we're at with those. A couple of them were just tidying up a few things before we get ready to do the paperwork to list them and take photos. Um, Buyers, seems like we've slowed down a little bit with buyers, but the ones that are coming are more serious. We've had multiple offers on one of our properties, just trying to get together on a price with, some of the folks that have offered on them. Got a couple more showings on that Oswego one we highlighted. Last episode with Nate, we talked about that one. I want to talk about the one I got that's probably going to close. Well, not close, but probably going to have an accepted offer on it, I would assume, here on Tuesday when our delayed negotiation period ends. So I guess we could touch on that one real quick. Let's see if I can pull this up here. So this is beautiful property, beautiful farm. I love this property. This is up Jefferson County. Let me do this. This is up Jefferson County, just outside Watertown Center here. 11, it kind of comes off of 232 here. It's just off the 81 exit. Beautiful farm. Was probably once a great huge block corridor here. You can kind of see it overlaid on that. But this is 99 acres, beautiful property, offered at $425. This is all offers due by Tuesday, with 48-hour asking period for reviewing of offers. Got a 1800s farmhouse, newer metal roof on it, less than 20 years old, and just a beautiful, beautiful property here. We'll look through some of these pictures on it. I love this farm. Got a couple trail cameras out there soaking on this property right now. So it's complete with barns. There's a pole barn back here. This is like a milking barn, they call it. On the tax report, this is a milking barn, but they used it for beef cattle and stuff for years. It's got hay mow storage in the top. First floor kind of tie stall set up in the bottom. Outdoor run-in space. It's got a bunch of old pasture fencing and stuff like that. There's a good look at the pole barn. Two different two-car detached garages. There's a good look at the kind of run-in area underneath that. Beautiful stuff that was used for tillable in the past. Has been gone fallow for a couple years. Some really good old pasture ground full of deer trails, full of regrowths, some old historical pastures. Really good buck sign. This is a fresh rub I found on the property out taking photos. Big beaten deer trails on the property. Some old historical farming implements. Some old pasture, I guess, shade pockets and hardwood pockets to set up for if you were cutting in some bedding into some of these areas and stuff like that. There's definitely some areas to use and improve for that, and you can use a lot of the old pasture fencing for pinch points and squeezes naturally. There are a few little wetland pockets, I would guess call them. Some cattail-y stuff. This year it's been a little dry, so this didn't have a standing water in it. But obviously you can tell historically wet in a couple of these pockets. Great diversity. Like I said, some tillable potential acreage on the front. Big, like I said, heavy deer trails. Lots of turkey and grouse. This is a dust bowl that's just hollowed right out on the trail. Fresh feathers. Cattle gates, you can open them up, use them for squeezes. Went through and knocked in miles and miles of trails on the property to make access a lot easier, which were the old established trails, but lots of great old areas that you can use for food plots. Big fresh scrape that was tore up. We got a couple cameras, like I said, around this property collecting data and intel. 10 by 12 shed, poured floor. I mean, this property has just a little bit of everything, and it's beautiful, and I can't wait to bring the offers to these clients on it this coming week, and see if we can bring it together for them on it. So we've already had a few offers come in on it. So that's why we went out and set the delayed negotiation. We had some more showings to line up on it. Open house is going to be Monday on it at noon or 12:30. I'll be there early, have the signs out. So we're going to have an open house on Monday as well. Walk around the property a little bit and get some folks in that and work up hopefully some more offers on the property as well. So beautiful piece. Loved it and loved bringing it to market, and I think we got a good one. And the old tie stall, I forgot. You guys have to go online, whitetailproperties.com, and check out all the listing photos. There's a really cool, really nice shed off of probably an 8-point or a 9-point that I found hanging in the barn that I put there on the one tack room. You know, if you were going to use it for horses or something like that. The one kind of tack room area, you can see the shed hanging there. I put it there just around the corner from where I found it, so that was really cool. But yep, so that's beautiful property. Can't wait to keep bringing that together. So Oh, I was gonna do Aaron's West Virginia brandy. So dropping a couple more comments. We're gonna wrap the show up. We're almost an hour in. I'm gonna grab that brandy to try up quick and see what we can come up with for trying that. So this is from Aaron. Brought this to me. I forget it was a Pert Near event, I think. Aaron, if you're tuning in, you probably would know better than me. This is a West Virginia, because I believe he's from West Virginia originally, or was in West Virginia for a time. So, alrighty. Quiet on the set for the cork pop, because we love to hear it. Alright. I'll take a really, really good cork pop. So this is a West Virginia blackberry brandy, or blackberry flavored bourbon whiskey. He calls it more of a brandy. So have a little pour of this. We'll see. Maybe this is something my wife will like. So thank you, Aaron, for a little taste of this. Aaron said yes 2 years ago. So finally getting around to it. I don't think it's a whiskey or a bourbon whiskey. It definitely comes off more fruit forward brandy like. Would really like this dessert after dinner, something like that. Can't have. I mean, it's sweet, dude. This is really, really sweet. 80 proof, really sweet, good blackberry, fruit and berry, West Virginia, 1995, 25th anniversary offering. So yeah, it's a good one, dude. I like it. I'm not saying it's something I'm gonna, sit down and pour for a show, but I think for a dessert, something like that, somebody wants a little brandy. Now that's gonna go over on the spirit shelf. That's like rum, vodkas, all that stuff. And then I got the rum and rye cocktail mix. That'll go over there with the brandies. So thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it. Cheers. It's just sweet and desserty. I mean, yeah, that's more of like I said, a brandy. It's really, really sweet for a whiskey. It's, you know it says it's a bourbon whiskey with natural flavoring. So um, usually when you have a bourbon, you can't put any additional flavoring into it. So I think it's a whiskey at this point. I know they say it's a bourbon whiskey, but um, it's got good color. It's got a nice kind of ruby red color to it. It's got good flavor. I think it's a really good blackberry, more brandy like you said, but I like it, dude. Dessert, could definitely groove on that, and I probably should have my wife try that. I think she'll like it a lot. She likes a lot of that blackberry kind of stuff. Especially, if you put that with a little bit of Sprite. Man, maybe we should have talked about this earlier in the summer. Put that with a little bit of Sprite, a couple cubes of ice over it. I mean, that would be a great summer cocktail kind of throw together, kind of mix up. Little Sprite, blackberry. I think that would be right up, or Sprite, or lemonade blackberry. I think that would be really good too. So, um, yeah. Well, trying to think. One last tip for the night. Um, hmm. Oh, don't hunt your best spots in this first week. Unless you got something that's screaming 1 year rule, that's screaming trail camera pattern. Um, I'm not seeing a whole lot of it. Again, I haven't gone out there and pulled more cards yet. I'll probably get out and do a few sits here in the first couple weeks. That's why I'm trying to get these these couple listings and stuff and showings wrapped up, and really kind of set the stage here going into October. I'm in really good shape. I do have some stuff going on opening day, but I'm not really worried about it. It's going to be kind of warm, but we got a cold front, looks like rolling in there a little bit. Just kind of looking at when the next good cold front's going to be. I'll probably get out and make some sits and try to see if you can have some early season magic. If it's a spot where I need to take does, I might take a doe early. Depends. Sounds like we got a few processors that are cutting early. I don't mind cutting my own, but definitely want to be able to, at least try to overnight hang them, and we just haven't had temperatures that are conducive for that. We still got a lot of flies out there, and I don't want them, laying on the deer and stuff overnight. So, if you got a couple processors, I know of a few that are cutting this year. If anybody else has any recommendations, I'd be happy to tote them up on the show. But yeah, I think our rule, again, another little tip, our doe rule is 5 or more. We drop one. I try to drop a mature doe that gives me the best, ethical shot. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the biggest. I guess if I have to have a choice, if they're coming in a single file line or something like that down a deer run or a trail, probably taking one that seems like she's got some buck fawns. Don't want to see them just distribute as far, maybe. But other than that, it's the one that gives me the best shot. If that first good, 100 pound, 110, 100 whatever pound doe, really solid doe, gives me a good shot, and she's third in line, yeah, I'm sorry. You know, I'm not hunting my best rut cruising spots, my best funnels. I'm hunting like observation outliers, um, really, really, low impact. I mean, some of these ones I could probably throw a stone literally over the road from where I'm sitting in the stand, at least to the road for sure, but maybe probably over the road for some of these ones early. So low impact stands. I'm not pushing deep into properties um, unless I have the right conditions for it, or I have a 1 year rule and the right conditions to hunt that spot. So that's my other tip: is dig deep into that data, look at what you've had historically at other times, whether it was that year or year before, and you might see that it's like November 10th or November 12th or whatever it might be. This spot on your farm, whether it's a specific buck or just good bucks in general or a lot of buck activity in general, those spots and those dates, certain farms get hot year in and year out. Hunt that hot stuff. Get that date, circle it on your calendar, take it off work, shade it one day or the other, and just if you can work with your employer about what day, if you can flex that a little bit, when you're looking at it the week before, say, boom, we got a front, but it's on day 2 or the first day or whatever. If you can slot that little bit to play with that to make that circle date, I think you guys will be doing way better going forward. So, hope that helps. Again, probably next episode we'll be back with Nate. Keith said he'd like to stop down for a show too. But if you guys would like to come on the show anytime, feel free to shoot us a message. Let us know. We love having local guys come on, talk about how they hunt, their experience, their stories, and how they find success. And yeah, we had the biggest buck. Give him a little shout out. Good friend of mine, client, from seed purchases, stuff like that. We talked deer hunting a lot together. Had Caleb on the show last year. He took the biggest typical that was entered for Northeast Big Buck Club last year for archery equipment for Northeast Big Buck for New York State. So congratulations, Caleb, on a beautiful buck. We had that buck on the podcast. It's the biggest scoring buck we've ever had on the podcast. So that's a previous episode. If you guys want to hear us talk about that one. That was an outlaw plot planted along the side of a cornfield with the farmer's permission, and worked out perfect. Can't tell you how many times I've heard of those little outlaw micro plot, forage trail plots, whatever you want to call them, just coming out being successful. So, all right, guys, if you want to, we'll do a quick shout out to our sponsors here, wrap up the show, and then we'll kind of call it a night. So, shouting back out our sponsors, Busy Bee Chiropractic out of Newark, New York, for all your chiropractic and wellness needs. They have a nutritionist on site as well available. So, reach out to Busy Bee and Dr. Britt in Newark to get feeling better or to keep feeling great. Busy Bee Chiropractic in Newark. Also, M&R Firewood Services in Phelps for all of your smoking wood, campfire wood, heating wood for your house, any of the above. M&R Firewood's got you covered. Reach out to them today. They have a roadside stand for bundled wood as well as available face cords for delivery and or pickup, I believe. Reach out to M&R Firewood Services today in Phelps. Also, they have a roadside stand down past Smokin Pete's on Seneca Lake. Pierce Metalworks for all of your fabrication needs, custom machine work, fixes, fabrications, you name it. Or if you just got an idea, get a hold of Nate. He'll figure it out how to make it. Jig molds, tree stand camera mounts. I think he's done trail camera mounts, bunch of different stuff he's kind of come up with and played around with, and he's got more stuff coming. So look for more stuff from Pierce Metalworks and reach out to him today for all of your metal or fabricating needs. Phelps Fire Department, thank them very much for helping us have a successful youth event this past weekend, and help us raise hundreds of dollars for local youth in the area, for FFA and 4-H specifically. Reach out to them for any of your needs for their venue that they have there at the fire hall. I know we all vote there if you're in Phelps or the surrounding district, but they have a great venue for family get-togethers, chicken barbecues like we had, events, fundraisers. They've done a quarter auction there before, a whole bunch of stuff I've been to. So reach out to the Phelps Fire Department on Facebook. Phelps Fire, Ontario County, I think is how it's on Facebook. Heritage Outdoor Sports for all of your archery needs for archery season. Last minute pickups from arrows to broadheads to nocks, bows, crossbows, targets, you name it. It's all available at Heritage Outdoor Sports in Phelps, New York. No, they are not closed. They are open. Check them out. Google search their hours. I don't know them right off the top of my head. Google their hours. They are open and available, and you can reach out to them. They're right over on Melvin Hill Road here in Phelps, New York. So thank you, Mike and Lou over at Heritage, for all you guys do to keep us shooting straight and putting deer on the wall and putting meat in the freezer. So this is the new Heritage arrow from Heritage Outdoor Sports. Compliments of Heritage Outdoor Sports. I paid for it, but. And then last but not least, Whitetail Properties, Finger Lakes team, Tim Kent, Heather Kent, and Ben Williams. Reach out to us today if you want a property valuation to see what your property is worth and see how the market's doing right now, everything like that. It's always changing, always evolving, so even if you've talked to us in the past or talked to another agent, it's worth reaching out to us to see what the market's currently doing and see how we can help you market that property if you're looking to sell, or if you're a buyer, let's start your land search today. So again, thank you everyone for tuning in. Ben Williams with 100 Proof Whitetails. Nate will be on next episode for sure. I will wait for him, but want to definitely shout out the Smokin Tails event that is coming up here tomorrow, noon to 3. Come out, try the Sportsman's Reserve, and see if it's a fit for you. I mean, it was third tonight for me, but all of these were great ones, and I would have another pour of them. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for your comments and supports. We'll catch you all next time down here at the bar. Be safe. Shoot straight now that it's going to be season, probably by the time you're listening to this, if you're not listening live. We'll catch you all next time. Take care. As Nate would say, see you.